All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakwadash. I'd also like to give double honors to my elders, bishops, and apostles of Great Millstone that do rule well. And I would like to say peace and salutations to the Lord's elect, to the hopeful elect in 1/3, and Adon Ratazah. This lesson will be edifying as well as exhorting to the sincere sheep of Yahweh Bashem El Shai, Bashem Rakakwadash. And I'm going to probably title it something along the lines, as you see right here in quotation, please help me, okay? And this was a video that I happened to see yesterday, and the Spirit jumped on me to record it, all right? And I got some downtime while I'm at the plantation, and pretty much just wanted to do a prophetic exhortation for the times that we are living in. You know, this is why it says, let me get this real quick. I got it right here. All right, but let me go, let me get Matthew's 24. Okay, check this out. This is Matthew's 24. And by the way, Nero, okay, President Nero is 3 hours ago speaking about sending troops to Chicago. And this video is actually right in Chicago, okay? This is Matthew's 24:8. All these are the beginning of sorrow. So you're starting to see a common theme out on social media. You're starting to hear a common narrative on the news, and, you know, that's trouble, okay? And it's order out of chaos. But you have to understand that right now, the position that people are holding, you know, while society is quote unquote sustaining itself, all it's going to need is a little push, all right, or a little pushback, a little horror, okay, and the natural order of things is going to take place. And this is why, starting with our elders, bishops, and apostles of Great Millstone, have constantly exuded to us the message about how this is only for the elect, because in the days coming, only the elect, all right, only the elect is going to have that divine intervention. And this is why prophecies like Isaiah 4:1 come to mind. And a lot of people that are carnal, you know, they take that with a Western's mindset, assuming that when we refer to a man of the Lord being a safe haven, okay, for the weaker vessel, they're looking at that on a carnal level or a Western misogynist doctrine. And I'm going to tell you this right now. When this day goes down, all right, which is compared to no day like it, all right, no day like it, you're not going to have people, questioning if, you know, you're feminist, if you're misogynist. You know, they're going to hope that who they ignorantly call God and Jesus is real and is protecting you, because they need that protection. Now, let me actually go to it real quick. I wasn't too sure if I was going to play it. This is a little graphic. So Adon Ratazah, Yahweh Bashem El Shai, keeps a hedge around the video. But check this out, man. All right. So here we go right here. It says, Democrats who incited violence. Nothing to see here in Chicago. Chicago is a horror movie. Okay. Now watch this. Watch this. Let's let it play. Boom. Now watch. All right, you see what's going on, and these are men. These are men. Now watch this. This is the powerful point. Look at this. Now you see right there, she said, please. First of all, you rarely even get anyone having manners in 2025, but see how it takes a near-death experience for the natural order of things. And then I also want you to peep how she looks back and then looks at the driver, who obviously is a male, and asks him for help, because she's probably leaving one of these YNs that she was hugging and bugging with. And then now when real life kicks in, prophecy's taking place, she wants to flee to find a covering. And immediately when she asked this individual, did you see how he revved his car up forward and didn't even acknowledge her? Okay, this is why I'm telling you, man, when this judgment comes, it's gonna break people's reality. People are going to be perplexed when they see things happening to all genders, men, women, children of all ages. Okay, and this is a prime example right here. Some trouble got kicked off in Chicago, and the first thing that she said was what? Please help me. Okay, she didn't ask how much he made. She didn't care what kind of car he drove. She didn't care if he had another woman in the car. She looked at that as safety because trouble was behind her. Now look, let's replay it. Look at this. Watch, look at this. You can just see it all. Running away from it. Look. And you see that desperation right there? Please help me. All right, now let's get some more scriptures. And I put right here, omen. Okay, because an omen is a sign. All right, we're seeing a lot of omens. There's a lot of signs that are taking place, but not everyone is set up in the spirit to see these things that we can see. Okay, because when you look out, even right now, it feels like business is normal, which it is, but business is normal all the way up until what? Bankruptcy. Business is normal all the way up until what? Layoffs. Okay, everything in Babylon always looks normal until it's not normal. This is Isaiah 32:2. It says, a man shall be as an hiding place from the wind. And what? You got the destroying wind, okay? You got the winds of change coming, all right? And it says, and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. So there's a time coming where the Israelite man, the elect Israelite man, is going to be put on a level of reverence by the creature that it's going to take prophecy for them to see. Okay, and we understand that. So when we see little tidbits like this, when we see how people react to an earthquake, you know, I remember a while back there was a compilation of, I don't know if it was Jason A, but someone created a compilation of people on social media reacting to the same earthquake, and it was a completely different tone. You know, right now, there's no humility, there's no fear, but once these life-changing situations happen, according to prophecy, then you see life-changing reactions from the people. Okay, so you're going to see people treat you completely different when trouble arises. All right, just like how a man in power, remember the scriptures say they will be willing in the day of thy power. When you look and see how men are treated, the Beatles, even down from Folly Set into Great Dignity, Duke Dennis, you know, I'm just naming individuals that come to my mind from just, you know, scanning the internet and seeing how men and women and people react to them. I've even seen people that don't even know what this in particular person is doing, but because they see the following, they see the power, they see the vibration, they immediately just, you know, they want to cleave to it. And that's what's going to happen. You're going to have the creature wanting to cleave to the ark that has been being built by us in the spirit, being living sacrifices. Okay, this predestination is a big thing, man. All right, because after the predestination, you know, the best thing you can hope for is one, you are of the chosen nation as Israel, and secondly, you're not an Edomite. This is the severity of the judgment that's getting ready to go down, man. Okay, this is Isaiah 65:13. It says, therefore, thus saith the Lord power. So this is what the Lord is saying. This is not what man is saying. You got to start understanding there's a difference between the doctrine of men and thus saith the Lord through the Holy Spirit. All right. It says, thus saith the Lord power. Behold, my servants shall eat. But this servants that are going to be eating in the time of a famine. They're going to be eating while somebody else is not eating. They're going to be protected while others are not protected. This is why the reaction is going to say, please help me, because the servants are going to be helped. This is why it says the heathen shall envy thee. Okay, so these people are going to be acting completely different, and they're also going to be acting like they haven't been living, evil lives. They haven't been living wicked lives. This is why in Isaiah 4, it says, take away our reproach. Okay, so when the cities are being wasted, which ultimately will be through the thermonuclear destruction, but as the cities are being shook, shocked, overtaken, rocked, rattled and rolled, this is where you're going to start seeing people be born again, per se, meaning their minds are going to change. They're going to throw out old thought processes. Some of them are going to throw out different ways that they were living by. People are gonna denounce being an atheist. Okay, remember it says they will seek me in their affliction. So you're gonna see a different kind of characteristic on the creature, but that trouble has to arise for that to be exposed. And it says, my servants, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Because why? Yahweh Shai said there would be famines. Okay, there's going to be shortages. Remember the prophecy in Revelations, the 6th chapter, about the black horse, how a day's pay is going to pay for basic necessities, hyperinflation. You're not going to be able to be strong and independent in the days coming ahead, because Babylon has given people this self-identity of an illusion. And that illusion is going to come crashing down. And it says, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. And people are going to be in so much so thirsty that it tells you in 2nd Esdras that they will drink the blood of their own kin, their own relatives. Okay, so people that will have the mind to flee to rural areas and not be in the inner cities, which people have said, if you are in an inner city when it goes down, that's going to be your tombstone. You know, this is why you have movies like Escape from LA, Escape from New York, things of that nature. What was the movie? A great one that just came out, Civil War, which I hope I can watch that again. What a great movie. There's so many great movies that have came and went, you know, that we can go back and look and watch as the days grow closer to the end, to see these gems, to see these predictive programs, to see glimpse of man creating what we know ultimately will be showcased in real time through prophecy. Okay, let me see what else it says. But ye shall be thirsty. Check this out. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. So in the midst of judgment, in the midst of trouble, in the midst of needing help, there will be a level of consciousness of shame. Okay, look at this, of shame, man. All right, look, I'm gonna play back a little. Look at her. All right, and look at the men. Look at what the men are doing. You know, let's get it like right here. Look at this. You can see it all in her face. Okay? You can see it all in her face. But look what the men are doing. As they, the old saying goes, survival of the fittest. Okay? And actually, let me go right here. I'm just curious. Let me go right here. I don't got much time. But let me put right here, let's put fittest. I don't even know if fittest is a word. Let's see, fittest. I'm just curious. Probably be fit. Yeah, fit. Let's see what fit means. All right, we're going to go in here. Process of fitting one thing to another the way it fits. Oh, wow, look. Sudden, like fit. Yeah, fit of rage. Wow, survival of the fittest. Survival of the ragest. Survival of the struggle. Look at that. Let me see. Sudden impulse. All right, fit. Suited to the circumstances. Here we go. Now we're getting spiritual. Okay, look, an adversary of equal power. Okay, what else? Oh, look, properly trained. Okay, so we are spiritually properly trained for a time where survival, which means to live after one's death, survival will only be allowed if Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai deems it fit. Because remember, it says, I kill and I make alive. So being a survival of the fittest is going to be based off if you are chosen by the Lord. Okay, now watch. Let's let a little bit more play. Please help. Look, he moves forward. Look at this, man. Look at this. Through. Okay, men in the street. You got men in the street. Finish. Now I'm going to pause it there because it gets a little more graphic. Look at this, man. Okay, Chase Road. Those are Edomites. Those are Jakes as young lions, and then those are regular degular, as Jake say, regular degular. Those are regular degular Edomites as a chase row. Who shall take them up? So see, the woman gonna start looking at the men of the Lord as a protection place, because they're who they look at as God on earth right now is being thrust through. All right, they're being thrust through. Excuse me. All right, I'm outside and I got to kind of look around as I'm doing a lesson, geez, and that's why there's also going to be a famine of hearing the word, because what the hopeful elect are dealing with, just to give you the truth in comparison to what, non-elect of the elect members, all right, what 2/3 teachers are doing, they're set up by Esau. Let me turn this off. They're set up by Esau, so they don't gotta, be in the tuck, hide away on lunch to, squeeze in a lesson. They're federally they're governmentally funded, excuse me, right now. So they get the leisure to lie to you in their own time, and the truth has got to be whispered in the open, if you will. Even though we make our presence is known in the spirit, but you get what I'm saying. So let me continue, man. I got a couple more minutes before I got to go back to work. Go back to the plantation. All right, look, this is why I got Ezekiel 9 and 11. I got Ezekiel 9 and 4. Okay, let me show you this. Check this out real quick. So this is a horror because it said horror. Okay, let me go back. Look right there. It says Chicago is a horror movie. And why? Because it wasn't a horror movie when Jake was just off in Jake, but now it's a horror movie because Esau's being treated as a chase row. Esau's treated as open season. So now this is where man is saying this is a problem. But it said that Judah will be a terror to Egypt. Terror has got to be a synonymous for horror, I haven't fact checked it, but just speaking off of my own mind at the moment, terror, horror, they sound like they're in the same category. So right here, horror, feeling of disgust. Did you not see her feeling of disgust right here? Look at that. Look at that. She ain't carrying herself like she's walking in Chipotle. She ain't carrying herself like she's logging into her social media. Or this ain't how she's acting on a first date. Look at this. Look at that. That's horror. Okay? A feeling of disgust, distrust. Look, emotion of horror or dread. What else we got? What else we got? Look at this. Look at this. A religious awe. Look, a shaking. A shaking, man. Okay? So these people's nerves, all right, are not going to be stable. Their hormones are going to have adrenaline dumps. They're not going to have a cool mind. Their adrenal glands are going to be overused. Okay, they're going to have nothing but fight or flight. And what does she showcase? Flight. What she showcase? Flight. Okay, and look, this one got me. Got trembling, shudder, chill. Look at this, religious awe. Okay, religious awe. You see that? Religious awe right there. All right, right here. Religious awe. Now let's look this up. All right, I looked up religious awe. And when you go into it, ooh, look, rough. All right, religious awe. It means being overwhelmed by the vastness of Yahweh's creation, power, and wisdom. That is Jacob's trouble. Because when you go into Jacob's trouble, let's go to Jeremiah. I'm going to go into one specific word, okay, for the word great. Watch this. Remember the word power, religious awe? Look at this. Alas, Jeremiah 30:7, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he, the elect, he shall be saved out of it. Now when you go into this word great, check this out. When you go into this word great, remember the word power, religious awe? Look at this. Great, intensity, great, Yahweh himself, magnitude, okay? That these people are going to experience what they call a religious awe. All right. And they're gonna, that's why it says the strangeness of our salvation, They looked at the strangeness of our salvation. These people are going to go through religious awes in so many different ways. All right. Look, and I'll give you one. Luke 21:26. I believe this is the NLT. I just screenshotted it. It says people will be terrified at what they see coming upon the earth. Of course, a religious awe when they see the chariots of Yasharallah, awe, the earthquakes, angels, awe, troops coming in, destroying, awe. They're going to be in awe at what's taking place. And this is all by the hands of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Karkwadash, according to prophecy. And this is when you're going to see people start acting how they're supposed to. See, people right now aren't reacting how they should be reacting until it's in their face. And soon these people are going to have to face it head on. And it says, for the powers in the heavens will be shaken. See, there's that religious awe. And so much people, all right, are going to drop dead. All right, they're going to drop dead. This is why having that exemption, okay, is going to be so important, because you're going to have mad men sparing none. You're going to have the robotics. You're going to have the advanced artificial intelligence. You're going to have people being moved to carry out the lot of the Lord through prophecy, the mandatory marking, okay, slaying old and young. There's going to be a lot of situations going on, and you are not going to be in a good position if the Lord is not divinely protecting you. All right. And this is why this woman is showcasing the exact reaction, how Isaiah 4:1 is going to happen. Look at that. What's a woman going to do in the midst of this? You see? What's a woman going to do in the midst of this, man? Look at this. Dudes on the ground. Look at this. Look. And what'd he do? He kept moving forward. Look at that. And what's he can do? Okay. Credit score didn't help. Being Caucasian didn't help. None of these things that Esau is glorifying and of his successes are going to protect him in the day of judgment. This is Ezekiel 9:4. And Yahweh Bashem Yahushai said unto him, go through the midst of the city, which the city represents Israel in a whole, because we are a people before a place. Okay. So it says, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark, and this word mark is the wa, which the wa is exemption from judgment, which is a different word from the Greek word mark in the New Testament, and not specifically anywhere in the New Testament, but you got a word mark in Romans 16, as well as mark in Revelations 13. These are different Greek words for the word mark. So that also cuts anyone that tries to use mark and mark as an example to falsely prophesize to you. Because if somebody says the word mark in Ezekiel 9 is different, or if they say it's spiritual, that's how you use that for Rev 13. Well, then ask him, what about the word mark in Romans 16, which means scarpeo? Boom, cut right there. So anyways, it says, set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. And that's exactly what we're doing. We've been sighing and crying about the abominations that have been done in the midst of Israel, as well as in Babylon. It says, and to the others he said in my hearing, go ye after him through the city and smite Hakah, let not your eye spare, neither have ye pity, slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary. Then they began at the ancient men which were before the house. See? So this time is coming, man. And look, I got the Isaiah 4:1 right there. And she's a great example to show you that. Okay? Look at this, man. Through. All right? This is some shit going on. And this is nothing. This is nothing compared to what's getting ready to take place. But look at the reaction. Look at everybody in their lot. Look at everybody in their role. Okay? Heavy, man. Heavy. So I just wanted to do a quick lesson on that. All right. These are the times that we're living in. You have to truly seek Yahweh Bashem Yahushai while he may be found. And you have to be serving him in this true hour, in sincerity and in truth, in the spirit. We're talking about John the 4th chapter here. Okay, so I'm gonna send some prayers up, see what the Spirit tells me to title this lesson. But I truly pray that it was edifying, comforting, exhorting, because protection is coming for us and judgment is coming for them. So there's gonna be a great separation taking place from Yahushai's sheep and the goats. Okay, the wheats, the tares, the 1/3, the 2/3. We're getting ready to witness a great divide, a great separation. A great establishment on who you will know is the chosen. Then they shall know who are my chosen. So we're entering those times, and you're going to also know who's not the chosen. All right. So I pray this lesson was edifying. I just want to say, call halal. Abanawa Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ba'Shem Rakakwadash. Double honors to my elders, bishops, and apostles of Great Millstone that do well. Peace and salutations to the Lord's elect. With that being said, shalom.